In this video, I'm going to speak about a very strategic way to build wealth slowly, in a healthy way, in a mature way, in a way that you don't need to learn too much in order to apply what I'm going to teach. And this is the most common way of people who have some occupations or they have some field that they work on and they don't have too much time to understand the fundamentals and to understand how to analyze graphs and how to investigate different companies and how to really which company pick up some company or companies that they know are going to make good yields in the future and to invest in them. They just take some index that I will speak about later in this video, and every month strategically they take part of their money and build their future wealth. So I'm going to teach the core principles of long-term investment. Long-term, it means like at least 10 years, 20 years. When you retire, you will have this pool of money which you can live your life in a way that you have lifestyle and you don't have to be satisfied with scarcity. So you take a little bit of your money today and you save to yourself in the future and you invest it in something that the history showed that gives the best performance in terms of yields, in terms of grow the money that you put aside. So let's start by disclaimer that everything I'm saying here, I'm not a financial consultant. I'm just here like a waiter that gives you the information that I read in different books, and I go to the conclusion that this is the best for me. But you have to consult someone who understands, and I'm not a consultant, so you have to have your own licensed financial advisor and consult with him. So this is a disclaimer. If you need to pause the video and read it, so do it. Okay. So before I start, I just want to recommend some books. There are so many good books in this subject. This video is divided into two parts. The first part will speak about the psychology of money, or what we need to adapt to ourselves every day in order to build our psychological, let's say, our psychology around money, or our mindset about money. And the second part will be the nitty-gritty, how I do it. How practically do I apply these principles and build from today, from now on, my wealth. So the first book is Think and Grow Rich. I guess many of you heard about this book. This is a great book, not only about money, even though it's called Think and Grow Rich, but I think it's a very fundamental book that many later books take these fundamentals and speak about it. This book is recommended in terms of psychology of money. The second book is Tony Robbins' Money Masters the Game. Most of the principles in this video are based on this book, which speaks about both the psychology of money and the principles around the strategy that one can use. The third one is Psycho-Cybernetics. It's around your self-image, how you make a better self-image and you become friendly with money. You see yourself as someone who has abundance and not someone who has scarcity, if this is your case. So you can fix it. I spoke about it in another video. You can watch Psycho-Cybernetics in my videos, and I kind of delve into the principles of this book. Another book is The Psychology of Money. And this is another great book. And another book about psychology, around psychology, that is another one of Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within. Okay, so these are recommended books to read. So in this video, which is a kind of a mini course, I'm going to speak about the psychology of money, which means clarity, limiting beliefs, abundance mindset. Then I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty, the principles. So the power of compound interest, buy and hold investment strategy, major market indexes, which are the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, how I do dollar cost averaging, and finally about pension, about the management fees and how to optimize the returns. And then I'll speak in the end about the difference between private investment accounts, or you can invest through banks or from insurance companies. So this is what I'm going to cover in this video. Let's jump on. So I just want to start with someone I really appreciate, Wayne Dyer. He says the following: it's not about what you want in life in terms of what you manifest, it's who you are. You manifest what you become as a human being. And when I'm saying manifest, I'm not just speaking about when he says manifest. He doesn't just speaking about, like just think positive thinking and so on. It's also taking action. Manifesting is combining both. Have positive thinking and taking action. So when you all the time mingle and immerse yourself into thinking positive, thinking about your self-image, and you take action, you build yourself high self-image, great self-image of yourself, that you start to take actions you didn't take before, and then you become this person, you become this ship that has this direction, and then you get to different destinations comparing to the past. So I love this quote because it integrates so many things of success in life. So let's start with clarity, okay? What is clarity? Clarity is, if I ask you, how much money do you need in your life in order to be, let's say, financial independence? So you would say to me, the automatic answer is usually, I need $1 billion and then I don't need to work in my life. If I have less than that, it's not enough for me in order to survive until the end of my life, especially if I have family and I have kids and I want to help this and this and that. So first of all, you have to get clarity. How much money do you need? So let's take some very high life, like a very luxury life. Let's say you want luxury house, luxury car, you want each year to go to a vacation with your family, with your kids, including flights and hotels and everything, and you want every week to go with your family to a restaurant. This is a lifestyle that you want to maintain in your life. This is your dream. How much money do you need for that? So as I said, and you don't want to work one day in your life. So as I said, most people will say, I need $1 billion. What happens in this case is that subconsciously, when you exaggerate your goal, your subconscious, like this arrow, rejects this, because he says, how many people in the world have $1 billion? Not so many. So what's my chances to get $1 billion? Very, very low. So you even don't try, and you even don't know that you even don't try, because it's subconscious. It's something under the surface. You don't see it. It's not conscious. If you want to understand the subconscious, you can watch my video on psycho-cybernetics. But anyway, subconsciously, you don't accept the belief, the beliefs that you will have one day $1 billion. So you even don't try. You stay in the same loop as you was. Okay, but if you have clarity and you know exactly how much you know, and it's not that much, it's something achievable, it's something doable. So in this case, it goes into your subconscious mind, and then you have clarity, and your subconscious mind absorbs that, and you start to take actions. So let's go back to what we spoke before. We spoke about luxury car. Let's say it's $150,000, okay? And every 7 years, you replace it. You want a beautiful home, let's say $2 million. You want annual vacation with your kids, let's say approximately $15K. Okay, you want weekly restaurant, which will cost you around okay, this is an approximation. It will cost you like $300, depending how many kids, but approximately, times 52 weeks in a year, you will get, every year you have to have dedicated $15.6K a year. You also want lifestyle, so like you want to buy shirts and shoes, and you wanna buy different things every month. So for this, you have to put aside some $60K a year, and you also want an education for your and health and like miscellaneous, like playing the guitar course, or playing instruments, or different things that you want for your kids and for yourself. So let's take another 20K per year. So if you take the sum total of everything, you will get 132K. Now, this is approximately. I cannot calculate exactly for each and every person, but let's say that this is the lifestyle, that if you had this lifestyle, you will feel so much good with yourself. You will be happy, and you don't need to work one day in your life. So I submit to you that the required capital that you will need is 3.3, which includes all these components, plus $2 million a home, because you don't want any mortgage. What you need in cash is $5.3 million. So you see, before that, most people, maybe it's not you, but many people would say, I need $1 billion in order to maintain this kind of lifestyle that we spoke about. Restaurant and fancy car and fancy vacation and fancy house. No, you don't need all of that. What you need is only $5.3 million. Now, I don't put down $5.3 million. It's a lot of money, but suddenly it became achievable. It became doable, and your subconscious mind can handle this. It can start thinking, how can I achieve it? So it's very powerful to have what we spoke, clarity. If you have clarity, you're on the way. So here we start with the psychology of money. Now, when I spoke about $5.3 million, I spoke about assuming for a 4% annual return, which this is something that usually you take. If you put in the bank 5.3, the bank will give you 4%, around approximately 4%. So just to understand the order of magnitude that we are speaking about, it's like few $1,000,000 and not $1 billion, which is $1,000,000,000. It's like few units of $1,000,000, which again, it's a lot of money, but see, it's achievable. Okay, so let's start with limiting belief. When we are very young children, until the age of 6, we are programmed by our experience, how we experience the world, who are the people who around us, what belief they ingrained into our mind, and so on. Like, it's usually our parents. And until the age of 6, our brain, I'm not going to speak about all these kind of waves, but our brain is operated in alpha waves. Alpha waves, it's between 8 to 13 hertz. And I explained it in my video, Psycho-Cybernetics. You can go back to that and understand about what we were speaking about, the frequency of the brain. Okay, and this is subconscious. This is something subconscious that we absorb beliefs in the whole day. We observe everything people say to us, and this is a fact. About 95% of our decisions are made subconsciously. It means that we don't decide what to do, what not to do. We are like a cybernetic. We are like a ship that someone put the program into, and this is how we act. And until we don't change these subconscious beliefs, we stay the same. So it's 95%. Only 5% we consciously decide. And as I stressed, in early childhood, between 0 to 6, we observe all of our beliefs from our experiences, from our parents, from our family, from our environment. And these beliefs form the foundation of our reality. Even when we are 20, 30, 40, 50, we hold the same beliefs. So, how do we change it? How do we change it? If we have major limiting beliefs about money, for example, that our parents told us money doesn't grow on trees, and if you're rich, you have to be a bad person, you will never get enough. Many limiting beliefs that we hold in our mind, and money can't buy happiness, and whoever has money has so many worries. These are very bad limiting beliefs that hold us from becoming financially independent, and until we don't change these beliefs, we stay at the same level financially. So, before I get to the nitty-gritty, I just want to say that we have the ability to change these beliefs, and I'll give a hint, and you can watch my Psycho-Cybernetics video in order to understand how you change it. 5 minutes before we go to sleep, and 5 minutes when we wake up, our brain, as adults, after the age of around 6, operates on alpha waves. At this time, you don't want to watch the news. You don't want to watch bad things. You just want to close your eyes, stay in a closed eyes, and think about yourself as successful. And think about yourself as a very wealthy person in a place that you want to stand. What happens is your brain doesn't know the difference between imagination and something that really happened in the reality, and it starts to fire and wire these thoughts as if they really occurred. Your brain thinks that you experienced these thoughts, and then you subconsciously change how you see yourself, your identity, your self-image about yourself, and then you start to change subconsciously your actions. So this is like a short explanation about that, but you are, as I said, I explain everything in Psycho-Cybernetics video. Okay, this was the first part of the psychology of money. Now I'm jumping to the second part, the nitty-gritty. Okay, so the first principle is the power of compound interest. So we don't understand this power because our brain thinks linearly. So it's hard to understand how powerful the compound effect is. So if I say to you, for example, the first year, I put $1,000. Okay, every year, in the first year, I put $1,000, and I have 10% compound growth. Okay, how much will I have in the end of the year? The interest earned is $100. So now, at the end of the year, I have $1,100. The second year, I have the 1100 plus 10% from this new number. So now I have another 110, not another 100, because it's 10% from this number. So now I have 1,210. The third year, I have this interest earned because this is the 10% compound growth from this number. So I have a new number, a greater number, and this is the compound. And here we go on and on and on every year until the 30th year, I have 10% from this number, and now I have the $17,449. So instead of my $1,000, if I have 10% compound growth, I end up with $17,449. And this is the compound effect. It means that my new soldiers that I generated every year are now working for me, and the 10% compound growth is working with them every year. So this is the compound effect, and this is why our brain doesn't understand. But Einstein said that compound interest is the most powerful force in the world, and he didn't just say it. He really meant that, because it's very, very powerful. If you start by $1,000, after it's not linear. It's not linear. It's exponential. This is the graph as the compound effect works. It multiplies. If you want to know how much it multiplies, you take 72 and you divide it by the interest rate. So in our case, it's 10%. So 72 divided by 10 is 7.2. Every 7.2, we multiply our money. Okay, if you take every 7.2 years. Okay, the compound interest was the first one. This is the second principle, buy and hold. It means every month, doesn't matter what happens, you buy and you treat it like a taxes that you will never see. This is what you build in your mindset. This is like a tax that someone takes from me and I will never see it. And this is how you treat this money. You buy and you just hold it. You think to yourself, I'll never sell it. And also you get dividends, so you reinvest the dividends in addition to what you earned. So this is the second. We have the first one, which was compound interest, and the second one is buy and hold. Okay, now I want to explain about major market indexes. We have the S&P 500. It mimics, the S&P 500 takes the 500 best companies in the world, and every quarter of a year he replaces and calculates every company. It checks, and the bad companies go outside, and better companies go in. Okay, so this is the power of the S&P 500, and you don't need to think about it. They do it for you. And I can tell you that 85%, this is around 85, it changes all the time, but around 85% of large cap active managers, like the best financial advisors in the world, or a financial analyst in the world, don't beat the market. The S&P 500 is the market. They just don't manage to make better performance from the S&P. So this is very powerful because it's something you can invest into, and you don't need to think too much about it because they did the work for you. So this is the power of the S&P 500. Another one, this is me when I was in New York, another one is the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is only the technology companies, the technology companies from the S&P. It includes 100 companies, not 500, but 100 companies from the technology companies from the S&P. And just to compare between the two, so the NASDAQ is more volatile. It means that if it goes down in more percentages from the S&P, as you can see in the graph. The NASDAQ is this color, is the blue one, and the purple one is the S&P 500. So you see that it goes down more, but it goes up more. But if you look at the long term, the NASDAQ beats the S&P. Historically, it beats the S&P, but you have to have a really strong heart, because if you see your money goes down so many percentages, like 1 year minus 40%. If you had $1 million and suddenly you have $600,000, so you have to have a strong heart in order to see it and not touch the money. What happened? It jumps every time. So it's more volatile, okay? But you get more, the performance are better in the long term. This is what history showed. So these were the indexes that I wanted to speak about. And another principle is dollar cost averaging. Dollar cost averaging is, as I spoke before, you invest a fixed amount of money at regular intervals. Let's say every month you get your salary, so you take from in a specific date, you take the money out and invest it into the S&P 500 or into the NASDAQ. So this is the example I brought here. Invest $500 every month in an S&P 500 ETF. So this is the dollar cost averaging principle. So now I would like to compare between private accounts, mutual funds, and banks. So we spoke about the compound effect. The impact of investment fees on long-term returns are such that if you go to the bank, the fees are the greatest. You pay a lot of fees. But if they take your fees, they take your money, and you have less soldiers to build your compound effect. So not only that they take your principal, but also you have less soldiers to work on your compound effect. And it means sometimes 10 to hundreds of $1,000 less in your final, after 30 years, money. in your financial growth. And people checked it, and it's really significant. It looks like what 1% can do to my account. It's really significant. Mutual funds are cheaper, but private accounts are the most cheaper. It means that you need to like understand how I open it, and to send them your ID, and to do it by yourself, to move money from your bank account into your investment account. And you need to learn some things, but you save so much money on fees. So this is the most recommended thing to do, to invest through private accounts. One thing that we have to understand is we have to become insider. To grow your wealth, you must first know your numbers. Like, what do I have? So let's start. I have a house, I have a car, I have furnitures, I have this savings, I have that savings. Suddenly I get this money from this company, and maybe I don't know about it. I don't know how much fees do I pay for this, for that, for my television, for my phone, for my internet, and so on. So become an insider, know your expenses, and know how much money you have, and understand it, because it starts by becoming an insider about what you have. Okay, so what do I need to do now? How do I apply everything we spoke about? So first, as we spoke, and it's not a financial advice, but this was the disclaimer in the beginning, but now I'm taking it down to action. We open a private investment account every month. It doesn't matter how much we earn every month. We invest 10% of our money, of our monthly income, into ETFs like VOO, SPY, which this is the S&P Mimic 500, as we spoke, or the QQQ for the NASDAQ. Okay, it's a little bit hard to sketch, but anyway, these are the actual instruments that we use in order to buy these stocks, these 500 stocks in one index, because the S&P 500 is just it's not an ETF. It's something that measures the performances. Also, the NASDAQ measures the performances of these technology companies. But if you want to buy them, so you use these instruments. Also, I encourage you to read about the VOO, which Vanguard is the one who invented this instrument, and SPY also. And you have the NASDAQ. For the NASDAQ, you have the QQQ. Then you automate your investment. You have the option to automate it. Like you don't have to every month to give an order. I want to buy this. I want to buy that. It's like one time you say I want to buy every month. Just take from my salary this, and I don't want to take any action about it. You just automate it, and this is psychologically helps you to do that. And now, as we stressed, you treat it like a wealth tax to yourself. It's something that I think about, I will never see it. This is how I need to think about it, and then you're not worried about it. And through the power of compounding, your capital will multiply, as we showed. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I want to thank you, and give me some comments if you have some recommendations. Thank you.